tale as old as time itself, the zombie plague. I've been watching movies about diseases that turn people into zombies all my life. I like them a lot too, most of them, even the games that I play. The zombie theme is always pretty darn good. Some of the 28 days or 28 weeks later, I think there was 2 different movies about it, were some of my favorite. And I always like the movies with the fast moving zombies, right? Not just the slow and sluggish ones that you see in classic films, like the ones that are really scary. Those, I think, were the worst. SCP-008 is the zombie plague, and we're going to be watching an animation and reacting to it from SCP Animated, Tales from the Foundation, one of my favorite animators. Make sure you subscribe to them, guys. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos, and let's get into the zombie plague. Sandwiches.
So, what do you think is down there?
They crunch in them sandwiches, too. I wonder if they got some chips in
Sometimes, Chet, I think you have less brain cells than fingers. Down there.
Oh, down there.
Looks like the gate to
well,
hell.
Heck if I know. I just knocked into it this morning.
Yeah, I know, Chet. I was there.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry about that.
Well, if you're so curious, why don't you just go down there?
Nope.
Only if you come with me.
I think I'm just going to chill out and eat this sandwich.
And all that.
Time's a wasting, Jethro.
Man, a good sandwich with some Doritos on it, y'all. Some Cool Ranch.
Well,
some
would you
bologna,
look
some
at
ham,
that?
Mayo,
What is
mustard.
Nothing. Well, except for these mushrooms.
I'm gonna do that too.
Don't eat that.
Really? Why would I eat this? I just had my sandwich.
Did you hear that? Sounds like
Zombie
somebody's down
footsteps?
Well, let's get out. I don't
Yeah.
want to come face to face with an angry bear.
there. Well, it
Right.
didn't sound like
A bear is not something that you have to worry about. Oh, it's a slow-moving zombie.
It's just
Okay.
a homeless guy.
He doesn't look okay. Hey, man, can we get you any help?
Are you sick? Oh, he needs more than help. Ah! Not good, not good, not good.
First exposure, 1700 hours.
Okay.
Location, need to know. Time before SCP response, 3 days.
I'm sure, yeah. It's kind of the format of like 28 days later,
MTF
right?
Bravo Romero was dispatched to contain a viral outbreak of SCP-008. By the time we arrived on scene, police had already blocked all roads in and out of town. A half measure at best. Estimated 60% of the town already infected. Nasty little thing. The zombie plague, they called it. SCP-008. 100% infectious, 100% lethal.
That's
Transmission
fast,
occurs
too.
through exposed mucous membranes and all bodily fluids. Biting. They mean biting.
Spitting, bleeding.
After biting,
All
you'll
of
see
it.
flu-like symptoms with high fever, plus severe dementia in later stages. 20 hours later, and they're in a coma. For the sake of our sanity, this is when they are considered dead. The
Okay.
bodies start looking gangrenous, warped,
Right.
grotesque. Then that's when they get back up.
Yeah.
Surviving
So 20
tissue
hours.
assumes its original function and is highly resilient. Increased muscle endurance and strength.
Sure.
It can do basic things, including standing up, balancing on 2 legs, walking, biting, grabbing, and crawling. Slow, but they've got a vice-like grip. Not something you want grabbing you.
No.
High blood viscosity results in negligible blood flow from gunshot, puncture, and slashing injuries. It's like their
okay.
blood is turned to cement.
Right.
The object will energetically move towards sights, sounds, and smells it associates with living humans. Subject will
Yep,
attempt to
like light and
ingest
noise.
living humans if physical contact is made.
Uh-huh.
Neutralizing fully infected
Like to
subjects
eat people.
requires significant cranial trauma.
Cranial trauma, in other words, headshots. Typical
Well, if they're
zombie
already displaying
killing
symptoms,
methods.
enact quarantine protocols until we can dispose of them. You better be the MTF team I asked for 6 hours ago.
Wow.
Bravo Romeo, at your service. How bad is it?
Like, that's a question you even need to ask. I trust
Wow.
you've been briefed.
I've got the gist. Masks on once we enter the quarantine zone, aim for the head, no one escapes. The basics.
That'll have to suffice.
So how did it infect this whole town?
We don't know. What we've been able to glean from the survivors is
Subject
that it
01
originated near
in
the
the cave.
construction site on Route 7.
Yep.
I saw it when I was coming in. Looked like where they were dumping the bodies.
Well,
That's
where
what
did
we've
the
gathered.
zombie itself come
We'll be
from, though?
disinfecting this place for months.
What's the game plan?
We will be enacting Containment Protocol Kilo Psi.
I'm not sure I'm acquainted
Excuse
with
me?
that.
You said you were briefed. Classic Foundation oversight. Well,
Wow.
I guess I'll need to explain.
What a freaking butthole, man.
The first thing your team will need to do is relieve the police. So far, we've been lucky that none of the creatures have come close to their checkpoints, so
Right.
they're still in the dark. They think there's been a chemical spill, but given the population of the town, they're bound to collide.
Sure.
Bravo Romeo, let's get the local PD out of here. They've served their purpose. Sorry, continue.
As I was saying, your team will surround the town in a single file perimeter, moving slowly and deliberately. They will close in around the town, eliminating all those
How many MTF?
creatures they come across.
That's gonna be a lot.
I think we can just call them zombies.
Yeah.
That's a little too Hollywood for my taste.
A
second team
I mean,
will
it is
follow
what it is,
behind.
bro.
Considering those plague-infested corpses.
Can't that spread the virus even further?
That's very true. Fire won't necessarily eliminate every disease prion.
Wow.
That's why we'll be using modified flamethrowers that function more like a butane torch than a flamethrower.
Ooh.
That's all well and good, Doc.
Hot.
But what happens when we come to a house? If burning's not an option, then what?
You clear it. It's your job. You can't always avoid danger. We need an accurate count of the dead. Otherwise, we might end up down here again in a week.
Dang.
Position people at all exits and then send in 2 soldiers to clear the house, room by room. No
Wow.
stone gets left unturned.
There's gonna be some
Roger that.
innocence, y'all.
Won't it break the perimeter, though?
There's gonna
No.
be some innocence.
Everyone stops. If the perimeter is broken, the risk of a creature slipping through is too high.
Yeah.
Might sound like a pain, but it's the safest way to do
Also
this.
cruel.
Now, after all the townspeople are accounted for, that's when we level this town. Every house,
Bomb?
shack, road, gone. We can't leave any evidence of this place behind.
Wow.
Well, I guess
How
my
the hell are you
team
supposed
has
to
its work
hide
cut
that
out
from the
for
general
it.
public,
So
though?
why are you just standing there? Get going.
dropping a big old bomb like that?
Right. What came after was probably the bleakest time since I joined up. Now, I've
Sheesh.
been in worse situations, facing almost certain death, barely escaping with my life. But this was different. There was a lot of downtime to really think about the situation, about my life. It got depressing real quick.
Sure.
I took inventory of everything. What matters to me? Who matters to me?
Dr.
We
Collie.
finally finished things. The entire population accounted for.
I know
But
y'all
there
ain't
was one
forgot
thing
about
that
that
was
romance.
bugging me. How did this all start? I decided to investigate the construction site that seemed to be the start of it all.
Right.
We got there and found that in digging the foundation for a new hotel, the construction crew had uncovered a cave.
Yeah.
We went down.
A very
The
creepy
cave smelled
looking
like
one.
your foot after a day of PT. That's where we found it. Patient 0 of this particular outbreak.
Patient
A
zero.
shriveled up corpse, more rot than flesh. Someone must have put it out of its misery before we arrived.
Okay.
DNA and fingerprints didn't match anyone in town or on the missing persons registry. They say these things can live for almost 10 years without anything.
Right.
What's it like being one of these things? Do they realize
so
what
he's
they've
trapped
become?
in there?
Maybe that's a question we
Weird.
don't need an answer to.
Right.
Oh, did I mention the best part of this up? After it's all over, after all the grimy, gory work is done, 4 months quarantine. No exceptions.
Wow.
It's like jail, but you didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
It was gonna be a long time.
Dude, that sucks.
But it wasn't all bad.
Hey, girl.
Someone looks like they could use some cheering up.
Well, if it isn't my favorite Foundation doctor.
Stop. What about Dr. Buck?
I've met some SCPs friendlier than her.
Wow.
Stop. She's not as bad as you might think.
Cool.
What's in the box?
I'll show you if you take back what you said about Buck.
Fine. Dr. Buck is the friendliest, fuzziest, most sincere person I've ever met.
That didn't sound sarcastic at all.
Untrue.
Come on, show me what's in there.
Okay.
Are they?
Cupcakes.
Are they all for me?
Of course. They might be a little dry. You know, I may have a PhD in experimental research of cryptids, but baking has
Baking
never
is
been my
hard,
strongest
man.
talent.
I can cook
I'm sure
well,
they're
but baking
wonderful.
is a challenge. It's different, right? It's like chemistry. And cooking's kind of just like, you can kind of wing it. You know, it's just ingredients. It's not.
You can only
measuring
have
and
one a day, though.
accuracy and stuff.
Don't want you getting all soft in there.
I'm gonna eat them all right now, and there's
What?
nothing you can do about it.
A
Don't make me
dozen
come in there.
cupcakes? Bruh, your stomach's gonna be
It's
hurt.
missions like this that puts everything into perspective.
Shit, he's
What
so
you
cute
couldn't care
together.
less about, and what you'd move mountains for.
Sure. That was the zombie plague. You know, we didn't get to see a whole lot of action, but I assume it's business as usual when it comes down to zombies, right? They spread, and they spread some more unless you kill them. The 28 days later, I remember watching that movie, and man, I didn't watch the whole series of The Walking Dead and stuff like that, but the good zombie movies, that's what I think about. What are y'all favorites? Let me know in the comments. And what you think about this SCP, guys. Make sure to subscribe to SCP Animated Tales from the Foundation and me if you like reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.